It was a beautiful sunny afternoon, and the whole neighborhood was outside playing. It was perfect weather, and the kids were having a blast running around with water balloons and water guns. But not our doggy friend Biscuit. Not today. Today was a very important day. It was a day for a special treat, a day for a picnic in the park. Now, Biscuit's mom and dad, along with some other parents, have been working on this picnic for days. They wanted to surprise the kiddos with something really special, something to make them smile. And they managed to get a lot of things: sandwiches, fruit, cookies, even a slice of cake. Everything was placed on a big, colorful blanket, and it looked like a feast fit for a king or a queen. But no one was going to eat yet. First, they needed someone to guard it. And who better than Biscuit? The grown-ups told Biscuit that he would be in charge of watching over the picnic. Well, they went to pick some flowers, so Biscuit stood tall, puffing out his chest, trying to look brave. His tail wagged furiously, almost knocking him over. He was excited. Being a guard wasn't easy, but he was up to the task. Well, he thought he was. As soon as the humans walked away, Biscuit's ears perked up. He sniffed the air. What was that yummy smell? Suddenly, he saw them, a whole line of ants marching toward the food. Oh, no! Biscuit barked once, twice, and jumped in front of them. Now those ants weren't scared of a little dog barking. They kept on walking, carrying crumbs and bits of food back to their anthill. Biscuit didn't like that at all. Not on my watch, he seemed to say. He tried to chase them away, but then he stopped. What was that delicious smell? It smelled like barbecue. Biscuit followed his nose until he saw it, a juicy, tasty sandwich. The ants were heading straight for it. Of course, they weren't strong enough to carry it off by themselves, but together, well, they just might manage it. Biscuit couldn't let that happen, so he barked again and took his position in front of the sandwich. But while he was busy keeping an eye on the ants, something caught his eye, or rather his nose. It smelled sweet and fresh, and when he looked up, he saw it, a big, juicy apple, just waiting for him to take a bite. It looked so good. Biscuit couldn't help himself. He leaned in to take a little sniff, just a little sniff. That's all it was. But before he knew it, the ants were marching right past him, carrying pieces of the apple away from the picnic. Biscuit woke up with a start. Had he been sleeping? How could he have been sleeping when he was supposed to be guarding the picnic? He shook his head and raced after the ants. He had to get that apple back. But then, oh dear, another delicious smell hit him. It smelled like warm vanilla and sugar. Biscuit followed his nose and saw a big slice of cake. Vanilla and cream, his favorite. How could he resist? He leaned in close and took a little lick. Just a little lick. It tasted so good. And while he was licking the plate clean, the ants marched onto the blanket, grabbed the cake, and pulled it toward the bushes. Biscuit woke up again, and this time he saw them, all of them, the sneaky ants carrying food away from the picnic. He had to do something, anything to stop them. He barked and lunged forward, and that's when everything went wrong. Biscuit tripped over his own paws and tumbled across the blanket. Cups flew through the air. Sandwiches landed in the grass, and a cookie fell right into the center of the blanket. Before he knew it, Biscuit was surrounded by flying ants. They swarmed around him, pulling and tugging at the cookie. It was a battle of dog versus ants, and the ants were winning. Then something strange happened. One ant grabbed a piece of cake and started marching away. Another ant grabbed a piece of apple and followed the first one. Then another ant grabbed the cookie. The ants were taking their food back. But why? Did they want to share? No. Biscuit suddenly understood. They were taking the food back to the anthill because their home was being destroyed. The humans had stepped on their anthill while setting up the picnic. That's why the ants were angry. But what could Biscuit do to help? He looked around and saw the blanket. He barked once, then ran toward the trees. The ants looked up, confused. What was he doing? Well, Biscuit had an idea. Maybe it wasn't a very smart idea, but he was willing to try. He ran to the tree, jumped up and down, then turned around and barked at the ants. "Leave my picnic, mean ants," he barked. "I challenge you to a race." The ants didn't understand what he was saying, but they were willing to play a game. They raced across the grass, past the sandwiches, the cups, the cake, the apple, and back to their anthill. Biscuit raced after them, jumping, twisting, and turning. When he got back to the blanket, he saw it. All the food was gone. Not a single crumb remained. He looked at the ground and saw footprints. The humans had come back. Quickly, Biscuit tried to fix everything. He put the cups back in a row, stacked the plates neatly, and even made the blanket smooth and flat. He tried to look brave and proud, like a hero who saved the picnic. But then the humans came back. "Oh, my, what happened here?" they asked. Biscuit looked at them, then at the untouched food, and then he started to giggle. He couldn't help himself. He felt so silly. Then the humans saw the trail of ants leading to the bushes and the overturned anthill. They understood what had happened. They helped Biscuit pick up the food, shared what they could, and even gave him a big cheer for being the silliest and hungriest guard dog ever. And that's the end of our story about Biscuit. What a silly dog he is. He just can't stop sniffing all the delicious food. He has such a great heart, though. Even though he was hungry, he wanted to protect the picnic and help the ants. He's such a good boy. We hope you enjoyed listening to Biscuit's story. If you did, make sure to give us a thumbs up. You can also check out more of our videos. We think you'll love them, too. Thanks for watching.